This is Inside Indiana Business Radio for Tuesday, December 3rd, 2024. I'm Marek Mazurek. When parents are worried about their child's development, they may have to wait months or even years for their child to be evaluated for autism. Right now, the number of children needing an autism evaluation far outweighs the number of specialists who can perform the tests. The answer, according to a team of Hoosier researchers, is arming primary care doctors with a simple but scientific method to diagnose autism as accurately as a specialist. That research team has created a tool that uses the eyes as a window to the brain.
We have a team that has trained primary care clinicians, so these are pediatricians, family medicine doctors, nurse practitioners across our state to evaluate young children for autism in their local primary care practice. And this work has resulted in more than 6,000 toddlers and preschool-age children being evaluated in their local communities.
That's Rebecca Keene, a professor of pediatrics at the Indiana University School of Medicine. She said the eye tracking tool analyzes pupil diameter and where the child looks to determine if there are developmental abnormalities. The next challenge for Keene and her team is turning that technology into a tool that's simple and reliable to use and also affordable enough to be in every doctor's office. Federal administrators have approved an Indianapolis Airport Authority plan to permanently close the Indianapolis downtown heliport. The heliport is currently home to IU Health's Lifeline operation, but that's relocating to Hancock County late next year. The Federal Aviation Administration, in a letter dated November 25th, informed the airport authority it can move ahead with decommissioning the heliport property to make way for the site's eventual redevelopment. The authority has not publicly disclosed its target closure date for the heliport. In a statement to IBJ, a spokesperson for IU Health said the Lifeline program will remain active at the heliport through 2025. Tied up in the heliport's decommissioning is the possibility the property becomes the centerpiece of Mayor Joe Hogstad's plan to develop a stadium district that would be home to a Major League Soccer club. The city has been closely working with an undisclosed investor group on an effort that is now beginning to assemble land for such a development between Alabama and East Streets. From the number one source for Indiana business news, this is Inside Indiana Business Radio.
Central Indiana, your bold future starts here. IBJ Media, Inside Indiana Business, and the IEDC invite you to engage Central Indiana December 12th in Indianapolis, presented by CareSource, Indiana University, and Old National Bank. Join us for a day focused on Central Indiana's growth. Connect with fellow leaders and walk away with bold new thinking to help your region thrive. RSVP now at ibj.com/engage.
President-elect Donald Trump is underscoring his intention to block the purchase of U.S. steel by Japanese steelmaker Nippon Steel Corp., and he's pledging to use tax incentives and tariffs to strengthen the iconic American steelmaker. Trump had vowed early in his presidential campaign that he would instantaneously block the deal, and he reiterated that sentiment in a post on his Truth Social platform on Monday night. Trump wrote, quote, "I am totally against the once great and powerful U.S. steel being bought by a foreign company," end quote. President Joe Biden, like Trump, also opposes Nippon Steel's purchase of Pittsburgh-based U.S. Steel. Biden's White House in September said that it had yet to see a report from the secretive Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States, which was reviewing the transaction for national security concerns. The committee can recommend that the president block a transaction, and federal law gives the president that power. Both Nippon Steel and U.S. Steel on Tuesday released statements in support of the deal. With an eye towards improving safety on local roads, the Indiana Department of Transportation last week announced the recipients of $50 million in federal funding. The money is going towards the Highway Safety Improvement Program, and INDOT says its goal is to reduce serious crashes by 25% over the next decade. In total, 64 governmental entities are getting part of that $50 million. INDOT says that money will fund nearly 100 safety projects by the end of the 2027 fiscal year. Projects involve some combination of adding or repairing traffic signals, signage, pedestrian improvements, guardrail strengthening, and increased lighting. Indiana Girl Scouts CEO Danielle Shockey is this week's guest on the Business and Beyond podcast hosted by Gary Dick, presented by PNC. A weekly conversation with high-profile Hoosiers in business, sports, entertainment, and beyond. Available now from your favorite podcast provider. I'm Mark Mazurek for Inside Indiana Business Radio On Demand.